if you want to turn on the camera, I can spotlight it.
Yes, one, two. Yeah. Yes, sir. Good evening. On this meeting to order at 6 o'clock. Welcome, everybody. It's always good to see so many smiling faces out there. If you're not smiling, smiling now. We'd like to begin with an invocation and purchase.
I'll be doing the invocation. I'm going to be inviting our students of the month to come up and they're going to be doing the pledge after me. Lord, may your goodness and love be present among us today as we come together to discuss and make decisions that will impact the educational journey of our students. Come bless our meeting with unity, hope, and vision. And let us work together in harmony, respect, and cooperation to make informed decisions that will benefit our students and community. We pray for open minds and to listen to each other's perspectives as we engage in thoughtful and productive dialogue. Let us seek to find common ground as we work towards our shared goal of providing the best education possible for our students. Help us to enhance the future of those lives we touch. May our meeting bring blessings for the future. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Thank you.
Before we go to recognitions, I want to welcome a past board member and one of my mentors, Giovanna Dorado. Hello, Juan. Okay, well,
Good evening, everyone. We would like to recognize Crewell School of the Arts fourth grader, Holly Shea Foster. She is published a book this year. Her book, Camp Misty Woods, is a tale about a girl who discovers adventure and friendship while attending a horse riding camp. Holly wrote the 35,000 word book in under 4 months by writing between 100 to 2,000 words per day. Her hard work paid off, and her book is now available to purchase on Amazon. Holly plans to continue writing and has set a goal to write a new novel every year. And we'd also like to announce that her book will be available in every elementary school library. Congratulations on this great accomplishment.
and we all promise to get the book, buy the book.
I'm not saying to
Now for our students of the month, Zoe Serrano, would you please step forward? Zoe is a fifth grader at Southwest Elementary School. She has achieved straight A grades and has only missed one school day this year, making her an important part of the school community due to her hard work, honesty, and dependability. She's also known for her kindness and willingness to help others, always greeting them with a smile. Zoe is considering a career in teaching, but is not yet certain about her future plans. Congratulations.
I will remain now. You want to be a teacher, right?
Sienna Ortiz, please stand up. Step forward. Sienna Ortiz is the student of the month for Spicewood Park Elementary School. She's an exemplary student who demonstrates a strong work ethic and serves as a positive example for others. She possesses remarkable leadership skills and serves as a role model to her peers. Sienna has excelled in the district science fair, earning recognition for her efforts. She actively participates in various extracurricular activities, including student council, robotics, and choir. She also plays soccer for the district Southwest Soccer League and has competed in the Southwest ISD Cup at Southwest Legacy High School. She intends to continue playing sports as she grows older and aspires to become a veterinarian due to her love for animals. Congratulations. Abigail Garcia, please step forward. Seventh grader Abigail Garcia is the student of the month for Resident Middle School. She has shown that she is determined to overcome obstacles even when they're in her way. For the second year in a row, Garcia has been a published author as well in the Young American Poetry Digest. In March, she shared her poem titled "So Peaceful" with the community. In addition to being a writer, she participates in the Jets athletic program and Best Buddies on campus. When working with the Best Buddies, Garcia shows care and compassion for the students and is focused on meeting their needs. Academically, Garcia is a hardworking student who is determined to succeed and achieve her goals for the future. Congratulations. Sergio Leal Garcia, please step forward. Sergio is the CASTEM High School Student of the Month. He is known for his leadership and willingness to help others on campus. He strives to continuously improve himself and has a positive and passionate attitude that is contagious. Staff members have observed Sergio engaging with fellow students, checking in on them, and offering support. Recently, he shared information about free prom attire and job application programs with his peers. Sergio is a first-generation college student and has been accepted to attend Texas A&M San Antonio in the fall. Congratulations.
We also like to add that there is these wonderful individuals that please stand. Thank you all very much for sharing your beautiful treasures with us. We're very honored that they're amazing. Out of order. Are item of information. If you don't mind, if you can put those out of order and to present the grant information, they will also hear. So last time we done the organization, we bring our year in March, and then we get to the August. And so we do appreciate all the hard work from all the people who found their leadership, because they have really taken this idea and these goals, and they have really done it. Also in March, we were able to get the conference part, and then after that, we challenged the campus to apply. So we call it people grant. And so today we'll get a little bit more of the work that we are doing here at Southwest and with how we're taking all the also immersive and we have a curriculum and options and taking the world and the global world inside out. So thank you so much.
Good evening, Mr. Board President, board members, Dr. Ball, and senior staff. This evening, we're going to be sharing an item of information and recognizing some teachers and some principals and campuses in Southwest ISD. As Dalila mentioned, the Solid Waste Management Department and the Office of Sustainability through the City of San Antonio will be awarding $1 million in grants to local schools, public and private in San Antonio. The program was designed to support the city's climate action and adaptation plan goals. So the schools were asked to propose a project, a program or product that would directly affect climate change, reduction of greenhouse gases, and other sustainability issues such as water and energy conservation. And you'll have to forgive me because I don't know what he looks like, but is Mr. Marcos Lee here with the city of San Antonio? Okay, I was told he was going to be here, but if not, that's okay. And I'm going to go ahead and have Ms. Aragon share a little bit of the background of what we asked principals and campuses and teachers to do in order to get this award. Good evening, board president, board members, Dr. Ball. I'm so excited to discuss the sustainable goals and how it aligns to the Eco Scholars. So back in spring in 2022, we had a training for our campus principals and their designees. And so they had an overview, they had some days throughout the summer, and then during the fall back to school training, we trained our teachers. And so we had some designated days throughout the year to really focus on that planning. And so we had this opportunity with the city of San Antonio. And so in January, we asked principals to apply. It was a competition, very competitive grant, and we are so happy that we had campuses that were awarded. And so at this time, we do want to go ahead and recognize them. And again, it is aligned to our sustainable goals that we started last spring. So we do have the following campuses: Hidden Cove STEAM Academy in the amount of $15,000. We have Dr. Sexton and Leonor Gallego. Our next campus to be recognized is Quirrell Road School of the Arts in the amount of $10,000. Our next campus is Sky Harbor Elementary in the amount of $10,000. Brian Carlson and Bob Hope Elementary in the amount of $5,000. Cynthia Alvarado. McNair Middle School in the amount of $5,000. Victoria McCullough. Elementary in the amount of Anthony and Kelly Pianova in the amount of $8,000. Spicewood Elementary in the amount of $20,000. Martinez and Maria Garza. STEM High School in the amount of $5,000. Jose de Hoyos. And Big Country Elementary in the amount of $10,000. Mr. Andy Kim. Oh, thank you. So in total, we have $78,000 tentatively. I'm not sure that Mr. Kinsey's was included, but it might be 88,000 total. If all of the awardees can come up and take one final picture as a group, please. Principals as well. Yes, and thank you to our campus principals for being the champions of the work. Yeah, I might need to. There you go. Thank you, Roger.
Yeah.
Okay, public comments. We have a friend. Thanks to Linda King.
Good evening. My name is Sophie Kruger, and I'm the president of our Southwest FFA chapter. Here with me is Callie Erpert, our chapter vice president. For those unfamiliar with our program, we are an agricultural-based club that is the largest student-led organization in the nation. As the year comes to an end, we have had a fantastic run, made many memories and accomplishments, and reached incredible milestones. To recap, we began the year with LDE teams such as radio broadcasting, junior creed speaking, senior creed speaking, Spanish creed speaking, and FFA skills. where all participating members gain and showcase valuable leadership and public speaking skills. When stock show season rolled around, our members traveled across the state, local, county, San Antonio, Fort Worth, San Angelo, Houston, and the Rio Grande Valley. They exhibited projects they worked hard with all year, such as hogs, sheep, goats, and rabbits. And while some kids were working animals, others were putting in time at our AgMech shop, building projects from gear blinds to trailers and complex table sets, also showing them around the state and proving very successful. Finally, we closed our year with our CDE teams of livestock judging and vet tech, who were also very successful, even having top 5 teams, top 10 individuals, and bringing home banners and awards from contests with hundreds of contestants. As the 2022-2023 year comes to a close, our annual FFA banquet is rapidly approaching. It will be on May 17th, 2023, beginning with the serving of meals from 6 to 6:30 and ceremonies promptly at 7. Callie and I would like to invite you, our board members, personally on behalf of Southwest FFA. We appreciate everything you do, not only for our program, but for the entire district to thrive. Please find the invites Callie will hand out. Thank you for your time and have a wonderful night.
Okay, audience, this has been the most exciting part, so you would like, we're gonna take a 3-4 minute break. We would like to leave at this time, believe me, it's okay. Now, if you want to stay, you're welcome. The rest is only not so exciting.
Testing 1, 2.
Okay, we'll continue with the move. Board members, consent agenda, you have that before you. Does anyone want to pull a night? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. You're so quiet. Okay, you have a motion in a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed. Thank you. Good luck, buddy. Okay, items of information.
So we do have. We have had 6 portables pre-approved in the previous board meeting. We have been told that as of right now, starting on, well, actually June 12th, June 14th, and June 16th, all 6 of them will be arriving. So we, as of right now, based on what the demographics are telling us, we are looking to put 4 of them at Spicewood Elementary. We have asked, because we don't own a very large section of property there, we have asked the city of San Antonio Parks Department if we can utilize part of that, being that it's a temporary state, that those portables probably will be there 2 to 3 years until when the bond passes, we start an elementary, we can alleviate some of the growth and pressure on that school. So they agreed to that, allowing us to put them there in the back of the school. There's already a concrete walkway. It will be a little bit of a ways to walk, but it's really the only feasible place to put them. We would have easy access to power, sewer, and water at that location. So that's one of the things. So all 6 of these portables that are coming with a restroom unit and 1 restroom in each classroom. So it can be utilized for the smaller grades as well if needed. So and then they won't actually have to go back and forth to the building to use restrooms, and I'm sure we'll do something with water there for those students. But so right now, the plan is to put 4 at Spicewood, unless we come up with another area that is in desperate need. We're probably going to house 2 of them here at the main campus to have in reserve for where we may have to take them. We don't know what possibly could happen at Legacy. We have 4 there that unfortunately we're still waiting on a breaker that we've been waiting on for a year and a month now to get those up and operational, but there's a chance that we may end up taking them there too. It just depends on where the growth and where we need them for the population of students.
Yeah, we're thinking that maybe we'll go through there. We're just gonna get the studies and really happy. Or.
One other item on the construction side, and there will be action items tonight as far as the Lennar sewer easement. Just so everybody knows, the Dell's Grass Farm that's on Pearsall Road is supposed to be going into production on houses at the end of the year. So like starting January, they're supposed to start putting houses down. It's supposed to be 600 houses. They're catching all of their sewer is going to gravity feed to a lift station that they're building. That lift station is going to pump all the way through down Pearsall Road behind, if you know where Charlie Kerr lived for, behind those properties, coming down the north side of Pearsall Road. It's going to cut across actually our property here that we purchased from the Abate family that's across the street from the high school. Then it will jump back into the roadway, come up in front of central office and jump back in front of Southwest Elementary, and then follow our sewer line out to the river and to the other lift station that Saul's has. So that was their route. So one of the items we'll be bringing back tonight is the sale of those easements. It doesn't affect anything for the district. It's property that would never be utilized. And we had the guessing with Walsh go through all the paperwork with us. So we have all those resolutions. Well, it's actually, they're gonna follow our lift station pipe. They're not going, SARS wouldn't allow them to go into this lift station. They're gonna bore the Medina River and go through the Stratton-Southville. So that they, SARS would not allow them to put that flow onto that lift station. So their lift station is where their property is. At the south end, like on near the railroad tracks, then they're gonna pump it all the way back and over here. I think it was a matter of. There may have been some issue with it being a TxDOT road. I'm not sure how TxDOT feels about some of those easements in their. In their roadway. No, sure. Thank you.
Yes, sir. 90%. Financial report. Financial report, I, about, if I had some questions. Not monetary. Marketing investment report. Report. We would start with the other question. Enrollment report. I'll say for the first time. We're over 32,000 in this. That was pre-COVID. We were right at 13. That's in New York.
Good evening. I wanted to inform you about a trip that our Southwest High School thespian troupe will be taking to New York City. They're going to have an opportunity to work with Broadway actors and a choreographer as part of the trip that they're doing. They're going to be able to attend two Broadway shows. One of them may be Wicked, and then the other one is the play that goes wrong. And then they will also be, of course, doing some sightseeing and as part of that trip as well. This is not a trip that is sponsored by the district. All right, and that's important to note. They will be going in July 7th through July 11th. Obviously, it is an overnight trip, but in our preparations for this, there were some of our procedures and protocols that weren't quite followed accurately as far as fundraising is concerned. And so we are going to be designing some admin regs to make sure that we are not having that kind of an issue again. But at this point, there will be some fundraising. A check from their fundraising account to be going to the company that is handling the tour. But in the future, that will not be the procedure that we'll be using. Well, specifically when it's a non-district sponsored trip, really we shouldn't be having any kind of fundraising going on through the district, right, in order to supplement this. So ideally, this type of trip would be like one that you see, maybe the social studies teachers when it takes students like to Italy or something of that nature, right? And that's completely separate from the district, and the students and the teachers that are going on that trip would have been just paying to the tour company directly without any cash flow through the district. Correct, in the student activity fund, yes, ma'am, the SAF. So we will ensure that procedure is, finalized and making sure that we don't do that. That doesn't happen again. Approximately 27 students at this time, along with their four adults. It's an opportunity that was offered to them and they elected to go as part of the thespian trip.
So let me get clarification. So, the funds got raised, they put in our student activity funds. And so now, are we still liable because it's going through it? If they're gonna pay a check out? Yes.
I mean, the district check is being cut and, but it's occurring outside of the school year. In my opinion, and what I've been guided with, is that this is a non-district trip.
So we're in the office right now, support are the ones that the students are running that also. More like that. They are some like, for example, it's very similar to this year that they didn't want to go like. We're in the class, the same as we got, and that's what we're working on and letting the parents.
Correct. We have a meeting scheduled with those students and the parents that are involved with this. We have it scheduled for tomorrow, and so that will be communicated to you guys. Yes, ma'am.
Going forward, we wouldn't want to put these funds in the student accounts, so that way. Okay, so how would, is there a policy that can be in place for something like this, for them to put money somewhere else? Because like you're giving money to a teacher. And so when you give it to the teacher, where are they gonna be funded?
And that's the procedures that I'm talking about in regards to when it is a school sponsored event. These are the procedures and the timeline that you would bring to the board. We never want to bring up a surprise to the board. Let's say there next year, somebody wants to go to Europe. We want there to be enough notice to inform the parents, to inform the board. So putting that timeline together, these are then the procedures that we would put in regards to raising the funds. But if it is not a school sponsored event, then that's going to be up on that teacher to work those logistics out.
And ideally, the best practice would be to just deal with the tour company separately without.
And that's what it was for, the other groups where the teachers were collecting the money versus the touring company.
Thank you. All right, thank you very much.
You purchased over 50,000. Like those dollars and done. Budget and emergency building.
Yes, sir. So I'm gonna be truthful on the, especially legislative update side. I'm gonna keep it pretty high level because things in Austin are changing daily. So when I start talking about something, we've already changed it and it's been shut out of committee or not moved out of a committee. So I'm gonna just kind of hit some highlights, really a few that we're getting, especially with Mo Casey talking to them. I'm gonna give you, like the agenda today is really tell you kind of where we are fiscally right now for this current year and how I see us projecting. And then talk about our enrollment. So, you know, on one side of this, we're very excited about enrollment, but also with enrollment requires expenditures. So, you know, more students is a great thing. But on the other side of that, we get paid, you know, we get paid based on students actually being on in school and, you know, when we talk about the tax rate and where we are collecting, those are major revenue streams. And then and lastly, I'll just talk about a timeline. We're getting started. We went through staffing in March. We're really wrapping up to get ready for all of the stuff coming up. Some of these will time. So this sheet comes straight from us. I talk to you all about what are our assumptions on the budget and how I'm building the budget. I the district staff and budgeted based on enrollment of 13.4. We're right now we're at 13.8. So we actually had to go back and, you know, at those campuses saw those increases and we had to add them. And so when I talk about expenditures, it's great that they're adding because we want to continue to grow. But with that comes expenditures. Now, when we're sitting down to do the budget, you know, look at our trends and see what is our percentage of attendance. And COVID really put a wrench in that because we lost a lot of trend data. But 1 year they gave us a whole harness and we all got paid because, you know, they asynchronous and all that stuff. So we didn't really lose a lot of funding. But when we came out of that, we're very cautious because COVID still could be around. So we got kids that get the sniffles and they were like go home. And you know, we just kind of got used to a little bit lackadaisical for like the campuses, not the principal or anybody. It's easier to take off now because it kind of was the norm. So we have a lot of things work ahead of us because at that time, this last year I predicted, you know, we roughly around 94-95% in a normal year. So I was shooting for about 94% in the budget. Right now, we currently at 90%, which is a lot better than it was last year. So not close enough to where we need it. So when we're doing the actual formulas and putting in our template of what the revenue would be, based on the basic allotment, I was shooting around 12.4. Pre-COVID, we were at 12.5. So I'm going to show you the chart. So currently we are tracking at right at 12, almost under 12, which throughout our history, the only time that's ever happened to us in the last, since I've been standing in front of you, was last year. So we're close. And typically the last 5 to 6 weeks are usually our worst because it starts over, so you're kind of, so the last 6 weeks are usually not in our favor. I will be receiving certified values. That drives a lot of the budget. So preliminaries will come out at the end of April. So I'll have a better idea of what we're looking at. And that will impact a lot of things. It will impact the tax rate, especially on the INS and the M&O side. And that will determine a lot of things as we move forward. And then, you know, you asked me about the collection. Right now, we're at about 92%. And I budgeted off about a 98.5 total collection. So I'm hoping to get the 99 with it. I'll cut that off with the dollars. That's what I'm thinking. Just so that I remind the board, you know, as we move forward, you guys approved the general fund budget, the Shawnee Christian budget, and our debt service budget. And so that's kind of what I'm presenting you over at today. We have a lot of other budgets like federal funds and things, but those are the 3 the board approved by policy. I didn't approve it by function, so that's when I give you a board amendment. If there's any changes by the functions, that's what they'll actually approve. So if we move money out of function 11, which is instruction, into like function 41, which is like central office, y'all are seeing that. We usually do it the other way around. We don't do that. And so current revenue versus expenditures. I like to track this every month. It's where we are. This side right here is our revenue side. And so basically in the budget, y'all adopted for us, it was, you know, when I bought it to you, we were going to receive about $141 million. And right now we've received about 98. And over the next couple of months, as we continue to collect the taxes that are still owed to us, we still got our payments from the state. We have an additional 49 million coming to us. Especially in the revenue fund, our South Administration Department, that budget revenue, we were predicting to be about 13.4. Currently, we're about a little bit over half of that, and so we got about half of that to go. And so the South Administration always have a month behind in the elections, but they have to turn in their real, probably. And then interest and sinking is our debt payment. So, 24 million is what we needed to collect to pay our debt, but also we also put aside 5 million to help with our debt side. So we get off a little bit of debt early. Now the people say we need to do that. I looked at that a couple of weeks ago. So we get off some debt to make the past even. So that's the revenue side. So what I try to make sure is that we don't pay more than we have at the current state. So that's why I'm critical, y'all. So when you start seeing over here in the expenditure side, because our budget is 155 million. So you have to remember that we did have, I think what I did when we started. There were some rollover items, and I'm gonna share those with you that from last year, the project. And then as the year went on, we've done some things. We asked to work for 2 million for some projects that we did here. So right now, we did, as of March, we spent $95 million since September 1st. And so right now, we're still in the red, and now upside down, so. Yeah, I'm being confused. I'm worried about it. And then. And so this is what I love. And so at the same time, Thomas Christian is doing really well. We're serving lots of breakfasts and lunches. So he's back planning half some funds and then actually tonight some items because they need them to skin on. Thomas Christian is not allowed to hold on to extra fund balance. They have extra, so it's one of the items tonight for that. And then our debt payment as well. Like I said, our collection came in really well, so I feel pretty confident that we're gonna raise probably even a little bit more than we need. So one thing I wanted to bring up that's on the back of my mind and I wanted to share with you, so share with us, it's been a long time. Last year, because of our 88, and that's the total number at the end of the year after final, our 88 was 11,348. With an enrollment of about 13,302. We've never had below 11, even when we were at 13.4 in years back. So this is something that's concerning because if you remember, I told you that the state paid me basically on the expectation that I was going to meet our numbers. And so they overpaid us by 6.7 million. So the state settles up on that. What they tell you is like, okay, you received that. When you go into your next fiscal year, you've already paid, so they basically deducted 6.7 million from this year's payments that I'm going to receive. And so based on what I am expecting to get and what the state says I should get, and then they go in there and they say, well, I already paid 6.7 last year, so they need to deduct that. But I just wanted to share that with you because at the end of this year, more than likely, I'm going to be going to fund balance to cover this deficit because we already received the funds that we're not going to get. So just reminding the board, it's one of them saying fund me an obvious and saying we're upside down 6.7 million or whatever it is. It's just part of the main focus in the region. I looked up about enrollment. I had some data that was given to me and I was looking through and finding these that, out of the 1,019 school districts, we're in the 87th largest district in the state of Texas. It doesn't maybe seem like that because it's a big city. With a lot of districts a lot smaller than us, and so I thought that was pretty impressive. To share that with you. Looking kind of at the region in our area, it's targets like districts that are 4,500 to 27,000, picking out some of the groups, the 100,000. You can kind of see where we're ranked in our area. You can make the point third overall and pick up with state. Over time, I wanted to share this because over the last year we've grown. And you can see we've grown there and some of our neighbors have gone the other direction for whatever reason. And I anticipate it will continue to go in the right direction for it. When we look at our fund balance and the size of our district, we take what our operating expenditures are, and we look at our fund balance, you see that we have a really hefty fund balance. If we had to go for half a year out of fund balance to sustain what we have, we can do that. We don't want to do that, but it's there. So it's been really good for us to have that. And it also is important for us when we actually, if the bond would be approved, and we go out and try to sell our bonds, especially in this market, the stronger fund balance you have, those districts tend to get better rates from your interest rates. It's very important to have a total fund balance. And then I wanted to share this because we talk about taxable value a lot, like how our district's going on taxable value. That means we're becoming more property rich. I'm not saying we're a rich district, but we've grown a lot. When I first stepped into the role, we were about 2.6 billion. right here between South Bend and Hardingville. And we've really almost tripled over the last 2016. So you can see that they're starting to grow. What that means is that we're collecting more taxes, and we're getting less from the state. The impact of that is on the, when we go out for a bond and we decide that when the bond is approved or not, but if it is approved, we're gonna receive probably no funding, from our funds because of the value. And so I'm on for this to kind of work hand in hand with what we see from the state. And then percent taxable value on the growth in the last 5 years, we had the second most growth in value ever had, like with this partnership. So that's some good values. Now, ADA, I wanted to share kind of like where we were before. We inaugurated this year right here, this is the COVID year where we had asynchronous. Notice that we had great ADA, so kids could get online and we kind of them here. But previously before COVID, when we were around, in 2018, 2019, we were about 13.8. When our ADA was about 4.5. So we're at 13.8, when our ADA right now is 4. So that's something that we're going to continue to work on and get better. We've gotten better because you can look what last year's was. So you can see the trend there. And that will impact you. Obviously, there's a financial side, but there's also an educational side. It's being installed and being so it's a team effort. We'll figure out how we find around that and get better at that. Attendance report. And so this kind of shows you this year is the COVID year. This is the asynchronous. This was the 2020, 2021 in the remote. And then this blue line right here is the 18-19. So this is kind of our trend. This is the first 6 weeks, the second, third, fourth. Notice how the last 3 semesters are a little bit harder for us. And mostly all that's our trend. And then this is last year. So this was kind of like the area like the Christmas time in January, and then the fall of the COVID kind of outbreak. And then here's where we're at now. We've gotten a lot better. And we're trending in the right direction, but we still got a lot of work ahead of us. And this is just data I wanted to share. I notice you're probably receiving these reports. I don't know if the board is getting, but we kind of know our target areas. There are certain campuses doing better than others. I will say it's widespread. In the past, our elementary was really strong. All of them were usually above 95%. Well, you may see them in 90, doesn't necessarily mean they're doing and trending like they used to. So there's a lot of work ahead of us in certain campuses. And so this first column is 18, 19, and it's 19, 20, 21, 22, 22, 23. And so you can kind of see it across. This is Southwest High School, and I'm being one of the first one with the things that's happening. And that's pretty much across the board of all the campuses. With some being a little bit more helpful. This right here kind of shows it by grade level. The different, and I had these for you. I should have brought them. I printed them. I didn't even bring them out. I apologize. But I'll get those to you. But this is 2022, 2023, and then each year it's 2019. This is the first 4 6 weeks, and so this was the year COVID supposedly hit us in March. So the first 4 6 weeks we were able to get good data because COVID wasn't here. And we see the trend there. And so we were at that year before COVID hit us in March, we were at 90%. And we haven't notched that. But we've gotten better. And hopefully we'll get that better. So I also want to share, we got through COVID and started to come back from it. And then the federal government saying, hey, there's all the extra funds to help them get through it. And we talked about fiscal cliff when it's all said and done. When funds running out, so we're getting close to those funds running out. So right now, currently, in our ESSER fund, we had 13.8, we got 2.1 million left, and after 2, monthly it's 25 million. It's big. And then ESSER 3, 31 million. We're down to 9.8 left in that. A big chunk of that, for that time actually, you'll lose a little bit. 3.5 the printing we did in December. So another 3.5 to come out here in the spring when we do that. So a big piece of that maybe this year in that. I also was here to answer too. About 5 million with the staff at the district level being kind of actually helping the building this year. Another thing we need to come out back on the October 2010. But it's worked for us because we've been growing fund balance by using the RISA fund and those money fund balance. So last year our fund balance was about 53 million. We were able to add some, into it, 61, that we had signed. Trying to bring it to the public. We do follow the hard line. The legislative session is not from that sort. A lot of things are happening on who resorts. I would say, if in my world, property tax stuff, that they're talking about, it impact a lot of things that we talk about here. The basic allotment, are looking to possibly increase that. Enrollment-based funding, we're on the table, but it's being taken off the table, but it's also, I say off the table, but really, they're talking about it in August, that's what the program. Things that are on enrollment. And then there's some other things, and school safety is also, something that I'm taking a little bit look at. So there's a lot of bills out there in the House and the Senate. And so the balance is the state's gonna have to do is tax that they wanna do, not the tax versus funding everything in the fund. And really, for school districts, we're one of the biggest thing in funds. But how they're gonna balance cutting on the private taxes. And at the same time, it's contributed to what they're doing for us, saving our funding for, next year. So for notable bills, on property taxes, it's Senate Bill 3. This is one that they're proposing to pass to move to the homestead from 40,000 to 70,000. We called back in the spring, they grew it from 20,000 to 40, so that was the spring, March, where we need to meet property owners that file for that, homestead. House Bill 2, talked about dropping the M&O side of our tax rate by 15 cents. It's changing, so looking at it and spreading it even more on the M&O side, and maybe let that law to take funding. A lot more details to it, I'm just trying to take it at the high level. And then it's something that, between the House and the Senate, they're gonna have to work out on that, what they're gonna do. You got the House saying it, you got the Senate saying it, and they're gonna have to come to some talk about it. School finance, I would say House Bill 100 is the one that I'm hearing that's going to probably be the one that they pass is going to be like House Bill 3/4 back in the state. And that's going to basically allow things to go with certain programs and get through a widespread of different things that they're going to look at. I have been heard different scenarios on the compensation that 50% of the funds that we do receive have to go to teachers for not earned. Or if other bills out there that talk about being on the side, you gotta get rid of the $2,000. Or in small business, $6,000, there is a lot of different things on compensation. I'm not really concerned on that, we need change. Represent the cost, and they're gonna have to pull that out. House Bill 3 and House Bill 13 are the ones that are really with school safety. Once again, they're still having to work out those details. So I'm not really gonna jump in for a lot, because we're gonna come up with new standards for us and require. We're just more worried about what the funding is gonna like, we're handling about the how we have to support. These things are getting a little much better. And then the one that's probably, causing a lot of the advice of next step to the state level. Develop. As a kind of private taxes, the school funding, how are things gonna be? We're providing right now on the boundary. That's probably the biggest thing. And so then, maybe the tax for the district. So that's really, the last part is we're gonna be meeting each other each month. And here's the August being our last dates are at the budget approved, the fact rate tax, but when staffing with campuses, we're gonna be looking at the products in July. We're working on our revenue template. We'll start working on our budgets. I will have to come talking about applications, talk about the cost of doing business is gone up. We're going to, a lot of things coming up, we back to careers with, the legislative found, tell us what they're going to do for, I'll be that. Well, I mean, I think that waiting on our side, we'll have to hold on for a couple of years. Depending on, real property will do one thing. This is driving it all in the weight. So right now, it's not for the building, we're not going, but if we have one to pay for now. It'll make it now. So we're inspectors. And both of them will be, and finally, doing the verdict without the measure. People are using and thinking about the different. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate your. Okay, Board of Trustees here. Continuing education, I'm going to read it. August 2022 through April 2023. As of April 18th, board members are required to participate in training each year. In the non-legislative year, members are required to earn 8 hours. Any members have additional requirements less than 16 hours of training. The current status of training requirement. Tier 1, none, which the numbers. Tier 2, board members and superintendent have completed team-based training. Other required training. Child abuse prevention, needed, young career, pending, all others. We ended up the Lopez, Sullivan, and myself. Cybersecurity, completed, young career. Pending. With the non-people, Lopez, and Sullivan, and myself. Evaluating and improving student outcomes. Completed, and myself. Pending. I am open James Sullivan, from the Rio, vote tonight. Legislative update. PDC, all members are voting, and that normally happens in July, during legislative meeting. Food safety is a new one, although all board members are open education. Tier 3, discretionary continuing education. All board members have met or exceeded the continuing education requirement. Any questions? There is one. Yes. So we'll come back to item 8. Consider approval of district staff development plan to require.
As per our policy, and local, and have you updated one that was approved a few months ago. The district is required to create a district staff development plan, which incorporates the required training produced by EXIT, or what they call the clearinghouse. Your board packet needs to be the clearinghouse application. And so the district divided the committee to review all the requirements by law. We created a plan that was represented. So the ad hoc committee went ahead and quickly looked at the best practices laid out by ESSA on how to do training, such as sexual harassment, human trafficking, suicide awareness, Title 9, conflict management, shooter. We need to complete all of the criteria for that clearinghouse, and all of the required that the board handles and approves our district staff development for required for use as per.
I second. We have a motion second for the district staff development. Any questions? All for the please say aye. All opposed, same sign. This is environment. Consider approving the possible act of the government authorizing the conveyance of a 1.499 acre permanent solar easement and 10.0893 of the acre permanent sewer easement from the solids.
Yes, sir. I'll present it. There is gonna be some actual legal motion verbiage that have to be said for this item. So this is, as we talked about in the construction report, this is 1.499 acres of a sewer easement that's here on the main campus from Southwest Elementary around and off the property of the Medina River. And then the 0.0893 acres is the part that crosses at the property between Robert Glen and 16th. So with that, Lennar Homes is requesting that to be a permanent easement deeded to SAW. We have worked with the Lennar home builders and we've come to an agreement of a purchase agreement of $40,000 for that. For those two pieces of property, going into it and divided out, that comes out to about $26,666 an acre. We came to that agreement. We did not do an appraisal on it because the appraisal would have cost us around $8,000 to do it, just to check to make sure that this number was right. So this number is more than what we had for the last easement that we sold to them. So we went ahead and talked to our legal counsel and they will go through this on. So district staff is recommending that the board adopt the resolution approving the sale of the 1.499 and 8.0893 acre tracts to Lennar Homes for the solid sewer and the value of $40,000. It is not, but it was not something that impacted us. I don't know if there was, I believe if they would force us to do it, but they came to us looking to have this series and run across our property. And so we negotiated and worked with them. But it's not something we have to do. The one for what card not like. They have septic tanks. I would say that it's not something that we have school district jurisdiction. Ask them, I mean, the $40,000 payment is what they're paying us for the property. They're going across, but I don't know. That might be a question I would have to ask to our legal counsel and see. I believe it's 600. 600. But I don't know. I don't know the answer for it. I'm just asking for. All right. Well, it's been Lennar, it's still in our home. That builder, it's the same as Cinco Lakes. It's the same builder. The express ones. I'm not sure how we would have any leverage there. And it's only going to get worse with traffic. I don't know if that's the home builder or it's the county. It may be, no, I don't. Well, it may be a meeting that we would have to ask to have with the county and tech staff and those folks to try and get that. No, they're gonna dig it anywhere it's not under pavement. So where it's like, they're actually gonna be in the right of way of Dragon Lane out here, so it's not actually in our property. I think I think with the, they were avoiding that because of the water lines, gas lines, AT&T, new cable fiber, there's so much stuff in that intersection there. I think that's one of the reasons they were asking to come inside of our property. So it'll go right along. Yes.
So to answer your question, we could say no. But then I don't know what pressure we get on solves and county and the development. It works out. So, I mean, no, I don't conversation. It's nothing.
Ultimately, it's, well, not make the decision, maybe what to do, so I will go back to them. I believe it's a, sir, I think it's not bigger than 12. I want to say it's a pressurized.
We can try.
It's not,
I don't know, like
it's not grabbing.
$40,000, I mean, for them. I don't know how we can, this Lennar working with Saws and then you got a lot of players down in. Yes, we could say no, they could figure another route if they have to. We could say no, but then it's just, it's reciprocated and one day we need it. And we like with Saws, not with the Lennar, with like a Saws and like I don't think so. They don't have an option because where they would have to go on Pearsall, there's just too much stuff there now. That's why they're trying to avoid that because we don't want them to go there either because if they hit fiber, they hit any of our items and bridge that down. So it's kind of like. I know it's working.
I don't know what our, like, as far as schools, I don't know what that would do to that, I would have to research it. That's it. Great.
It's really up to y'all. We can move forward and we can set a meeting with the county and text out and talk about this is coming. Our experience. We can go to Watson Road. Cry, talk, shout it. It's still like a big piece of it, but it's still, those are huge subdivisions. They're bigger than the one that's going out here.
For this sewer line, the area specifically, one of the things we talked about, was whatever's done anywhere that would be any conjunction with students, that would have to be done. The property over here, it's this side that has no one there, they can do that. If it were to break, it is a sewer line under pressure, so it would help. It's not like a gravity sewer where it would leak down. This one would potentially come out right along the block, wrought iron fence, and then it would turn at the mechanic shop and go behind it. That's fine. We can go back to them. The process that we went through is to get it to this point. And we'll go.
Would y'all like for us to table this and get some more information?
As far as development versus roadways, and you need to talk whether you want to slow it down or attempt to slow it down. Get our roadways first.
We'll see y'all soon.
From 90 to 25.
They don't have anything about the old cap. That's off. They're doing a study now. They don't have funding until I guess they kind of another county bond or they. And I know they have the infrastructure bill. I will share that we're talking about a different entity versus this, like Lennar and Saws has nothing to do with 90 and TxDOT and the county. So like that's a whole different group. So I mean, we talked to them about that, but it probably would not impact this at all. This is, we're just talking about, if we want to take on over there, they'll probably figure it out somehow or other way. This is the recommendation from the SAWS for that development to make it happen for their students.
Years.
Just so you know, in my process, they requested this, so I worked with them to make the least, the easiest path that would not affect any of our property that we would actually do. So where it's going won't affect anything in the future, but there are the concerns that you have with thresholds. It will not affect.
Let's, let them know that our own concern.
I'm following them.
And move to table the item.
A motion to favor. Please say aye. Okay. Item consideration possible adoption of the resolution authorizing the sale of temporary construction. For the purpose of the construction and installation of the sanitary sewer transmission lines associated with the work across the country.
So this is specifically linked to the one before. This is just the 20-foot construction easement that there is always a lot for while they're putting the line, because they have to be able to maneuver around that line. So I would say that this one would get the same treatment as the one before. It's all one item, but we had to break them out separately because
So legit, let's play a motion in item B.
We'll second that with the way that you were talking about.
Motion and second. The offer table item B. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed? Consider approval of RFP 2223 that one credit software.
Yes, sir. So this is a complete replacement of the freezer cooler at Southwest High School. The district staff, along with our kitchen consultant, James Cosper and Associates, identified the needs with the child nutrition department. The main thing is that those freezer cooler have been there since the 2001, 2002 edition. So over time, there's been some issues with some of the plumbing of those older units. They've caused some safety issues for the staff. And some moisture issues inside the freezer cooler. So we worked together with them, put drawings together, put it out on the street to bid. On bid day, we did not receive any sealed proposals. We only received 2 email bids. So in the process we went through, it was requested that they put them in sealed proposal. We found out is that none of them were actually in San Antonio. Turn in that bid, so the email was the only 2 that we got. So after reviewing those 2 email bids, one of them was not a complete scope. So we reviewed the other, and so Mission Restaurant Supply did have a complete scope on that project. And because of the fact that it is a safety issue, and because we could still get it done during the summer before the first day of school, the district is recommending that we award Mission Restaurant Supply the contract for Southwest High School freezer cooler replacement with a contract price of $344,117.
The second.
Motion second. To approve the first freezer cooler. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed?
I mean, say the question, sides here.
The one question I do have is it a standard contract that the subposition or is this a full? It's a contract, right?
No, sir, it would be a separate contract. With the contract. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So our RFQ for, oh, yes, I apologize. There's a revised, has revised 4/18/23 on the top. We did not have all of the reference checks back, so we had to bring that to you tonight with the final list. So every 7 years, we have a 5-year contract with 2 years additional for architectural services. It is up at the end of May, so we are going out. We've gone out with district staff. We've gone through the process. 12 architects submitted RFQs, and we're evaluating and qualified in accordance with the evaluation criteria. All firms submitted the minimum requirements. When we went through the process, as we have done the past 3 that I've been involved in with this RFQ process, we set the passing grade is 85 on the selection criteria. So anyone scored an 85 or higher was approved. So in this, we had all but 2 met the 85 or above on the selection criteria. So the recommended approved list would be Alamo Architects, Garza Bomber and Associates, Huckabee, Carlson, Noonan, Ritterman, Garcia, LPA Incorporated, Marmonmouth Architecture, O'Connell Robertson, Hoover Architects Incorporated, RVK Architecture, and then we also had one firm that qualified for $1.5 million and less, would be the Slade Architecture. So the district staff recommends that the board approve the list of qualified architectural firms for a 5-year period with 2 additional 1-year extensions.
Motion to approve the board to recommend that board qualified and confirms listed above for a 5-year period of adoption. Please say aye. Aye. To approve of Southwest High School.
Yes, sir. As we've gone through our bond projects and other capital projects, we've been trying to update all of our lighting, parking lots, street lighting, wall packs with LED lighting, the new technology. This item is for all of the stadium lighting at Southwest High School, which includes the Southwest Football Stadium, Southwest Baseball, Southwest Softball, the Spring Sports Complex, soccer field, football field, and then also in this is the sun locker room lighting that did not get picked up in the last phase of Southwest High School. So the basketball, volleyball locker rooms, boys and girls are also in this. So this is a project that we had done. We received a quote from FSG. FSG is one of the contractors that we've used in the past that has a direct rebate incentive, so we never have to do any of the paperwork or anything. They take care of that. They get all the incentive up from the CPS. They transition or they give that to us in the proposal. The savings automatically. So they've done multiple projects for us. So we are looking to recommend FSG for the Southwest High School athletic field lighting retrofits for a contract amount of $640,737.98. And I apologize again, there was a revised, it's not in the board book that's in front of you tonight. The reason for that is after before we came to the board today, we realized that I did not have the bonds, but the components of payment bonds, so we had to add that to their number.
Second.
That's the total of payment. Yes, ma'am. So it's already included in this proposal, and I apologize, I don't have that number right here, but I can get it for you. I have it, I just don't have it on the background. But it is a considerable rebate for the type of lighting we're doing. The amount of power savings and the automatic on off, instead of having to wait for them to do that and come back.
Yes. Motion is second, board approved. FSG for the Southwest High School athletic field lighting retrofit for contract amount, total amount, $640,737.98. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay. Consider approval of the purchase of new interactive playground.
Yes, sir. So myself and I believe Delila and Francis were able to have an opportunity in the fall to go see this interactive playground. It's like the state of the art visual aid and they have to increase they're invited and some other people to the house to see this and have to see it live and in action. And they currently were fundraising for it and trying to figure out how they can get this and then working with our PE coordinator, how can we get this issued live, start off. And so we had some funds in our Title IV budget that we can use for well-rounded education. And so we're looking to buy 3 of those to make them mobile. We have a trailer that we can put them on some of the different campuses so we can use them. We'll work on that rotation. Right now, we don't have that part worked out. But when we get these, we'll invite you to come see them because they're really nice to see and some of you may have seen them already. So we're asking the board to approve the purchase, about $110,000 from my Title IV budget. And we are recommending the board approve. I move.
Motion is second. The board approved purchase of new interactive playground.
Those things are listed in check, like they bring, I want stuff moved. The vision is for innovation and those things are very innovative for our kids and community activities and also innovating the concepts of math and reading while doing PE, and I was just wow, it's mind blowing that kind of concept. And one of the coaches was showing this at one of the conferences. It was really nice to see that. And to bring it here, it would bring it exclusively here, not having it down the street. Idea, like it's one of those things that could be competitive with charters.
So motion is second, the board approved purchase of the new interactive playground. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, let's take a look at section 551.
Yes, thank you, I do. I'd like to remind everybody that this Friday night is our casino night. So I know the staff has worked really hard. There's a lot of great items that are going to be auctioned. So look forward to our casino night. And then also this is the best time of the year. So we have several top 10 dinners still happening. We had our first one. We have another one happening tomorrow at Southwest Legacy and then Wednesday, April the 26th for Southwest High School. So it's the best time of the year.
Okay, now it's the next section is 551.001 to 551.146 and respect to the budget code. Open meetings law to the non-going association at 729. So it's being back in session at 8 o'clock. Well, motion is second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Any other business? Okay. Meeting adjourned at 8:01.